my beautiful lovelies, it's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a bread that has been much requested since I've started this whole YouTube thing way back when I was tasting countries. If you missed my Emmy Eats series, I'll put a link to that playlist down below. Beautiful lovelies from all over the world would send me packages of treats and snacks and sweets from their part of the world for me to taste. It was some of my favoriteest videos I ever made because I got to try and be exposed to so many delicious, delectable things that represented so much of people's childhoods and nostalgia and brought them so much meaning. And so it was wonderful to taste these things from a completely, as if I were an alien coming from a different planet and exploring these snacks and treats that were so familiar to so many. Anyways, I definitely recommend you check out that series, see if you're from another country, if I tasted your country. And one of the countries I tasted was, of course, Brazil. And when I did that, so many Brazilians requested that I make Pao De Queijo, which is a beautiful little cheesy bread that is made out of cassava flour, also known as tapioca starch. So it's a little delectable cheesy bread that's supposed to be chewy in the inside, and of course contains no gluten because it's made out of cassava flour, cassava starch, or tapioca flour. They're all synonymous and they're super cute. They're round and spherical. So I researched a bunch of recipes and there seems to be two basic methods. One that uses a blender and one that's more traditional and makes more of a dough that can be shaped. Both of them, of course, are baked and both of them yield very similar results. I'm going to be opting for the blender technique because it just makes it so simple and easy, and the resulting breads look so stinking cute. They almost look like popovers. You bake them in a muffin tin and they poof up and they're round and adorable and filled with cheese. Enough said. So let's go ahead and make Pao de Queijo. Finally, all my Brazilian lovelies, thank you so much for being patient, and let's go ahead and get started. So this recipe is super easy. You only need a handful of ingredients. I believe 5. And if you don't have a blender, you can still make this recipe. You can either use a stand mixer to blend things or just even a bowl with a nice wooden spoon. Alrighty, let's get started. So the recipe that I'm going to be adapting today comes from Fave Family Recipes. I researched a bunch and I'll put links to all those in the description box as well. We're gonna need some tapioca flour, some eggs, milk, oil, and cheese. Oh, some salt. A lot of times people don't include salt as an ingredient in recipes. It's still an ingredient. So we're going to use some milk in a glass. Measure your milk. So into our pitcher we're adding some milk, and I'm using whole milk. And then some vegetable oil. Bloop, 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 bloop. Another thing that makes this recipe interesting is that there's no leavening. There's no yeast in here, no baking powder, no baking soda. The steam from the ingredients cooking in the oven is going to poof up, and because of the elastic nature of the tapioca, it's going to trap that steam inside. So that's what's going to create the poof. Ooh, we have eggs. Eggs are somewhat a limiter once you beat them up and stuff. So that's interesting. So next we're going to measure some salt. All right, I'm going to spill salt everywhere because, I don't know, salt. And 2 eggs. Look at these eggs, aren't they gorgeous? These are chicken eggs that were laid by our hens, and they just started laying, so we have been getting some double yolkers, which this one is. This is a massive egg. This one's on the smaller side, so we're going to combine a giant double yolker with a smaller one for a combination of 2 eggs. I suspect this is a double yolker, but let's confirm that. I'm cracking it in this dish. It is! Look how stinking cute. Beautiful. Into there, and one smaller one into there. And finally, we're adding 2 cups of tapioca starch. I'm going to measure it into this bowl because my scooper does not fit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm making a mess. 8. And now the tapioca flour. Okay. Now we're going to blend this until it makes a nice batter, and then scrape it down in between to make sure we get everything fully incorporated for about 20 to 30 seconds. Make sure this is reduced. Here we go. I'm going to pause it because the starch is kind of stuck at the top. Scrape down the sides because it doesn't want to incorporate fully. I don't use this blender much, right? Alrighty, now we're going to add our cheese. I'm using a combination of Monterey Jack and Colby Jack. I've seen other recipes recommend cheddar, Parmesan. The traditional cheese is queijo minas, which I've read tastes more similarly to Monterey Jack. And that's what I happen to have, so that's what I'm going to use. But you can use the cheese that you like. So, into the blender. And we're just going to pulse this a few times to get the cheese incorporated, but not pureed cheese. So, get yourself a muffin tin, and we're going to spray it with some oil so that the breads don't stick. Then give our batter a stir. Now we're going to fill up the trays till they're almost full. So, that much. Then into our preheated 400-degree oven, bake for 15 to 20 minutes until they're poofed up and golden, and then we'll be ready to taste our beautiful cassava bread. Cannot wait. I've been waiting to make these. I don't know what's taken me so long, but at any rate, I'll see you in about 20 minutes. Okay. Alrighty, my lovelies, my timer just went off and they look amazing. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look how much they've puffed. It's incredible. Look at that. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Look how they souffled. Wow. Look how much they poofed. Isn't that amazing? Those look so good. They look like scallops or something. Look how they souffled. Look at that. Wow. They are so beautiful. I'm so happy with how much they poof, but they're already deflating. Look, they're already starting to sag. It's sort of the nature of working with hot egg products. Do we just take them out of the pan? We do. Oh, look. Look how cute. Okay, I'm gonna put them on a rack. Oh, they're so cute. They look like those little succulents. What are those succulents called? They look like little teeth. Oh my gosh, so cute. Alrighty, my lovelies, let's give my Pao De Queijo a taste. Look how stinking cute they are. Now, these do look different than some of the images I've seen of Pao De Queijo. Usually they're round, and even the ones that are made in the muffin tins with this kind of popover technique, I've seen them round, but these definitely poofed up. They're just definitely, they're flat on the top, but I think they're gonna still be delicious. These poofed up beautifully. They're nice and toasted and golden, and they have that cheesy speckly look on them, which is, I think, classic. Okay, these are really hot. Let's give them a tear and see what they are inside. Oh my gosh, they're so hot, they're so hot. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, they're like molten. Oh my gosh, look at the inside. Wow. Oh my gosh, so hot, so hot. Look, 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 look. Look how bright yellow it is inside. Okay, let's tear it. Let's see if I can tear. Oh, look at that stretch. Oh my gosh, so hot. Alrighty, my first taste of Pao De Queijo. Let's give it a taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. It's so hot. Mmm. What a marvelous texture. Mmm. Crispy on the outside, cheesy, and stretchy and chewy on the inside. Mmm, marvelous. With cheese permeating everything and stretching. Delicious. The texture reminds me a little bit of mochi. It's got a nice kind of bounce and stretch and chew to it. A little bit like toasted mochi. If you've ever had toasted mochi, it's kind of similar to that. It has that great chewy texture with a crisp exterior. Flavor, of course, is different. Rather than having a toasted rice flavor, this tastes of cheese, which is stretchy and rich. This is the first time I've had it, so I have nothing to compare it to. But based on what I've seen in other pictures, this looks gooier than other pictures I've seen. Since this is my first time having Pao De Queijo, I'm not exactly sure what the texture is supposed to be like. I quite like this texture. It's very mochi-like. But based on some pictures I've seen, it looks to be a little bit more hollow than this. So maybe this needed more time to bake, although the exterior looks lovely. This is absolutely delicious. I could see pairing this with a hearty stew. I think traditionally it's had for breakfast or as an afternoon snack or something you pick up from a street vendor. But there you have it, homemade Pao De Queijo that is made from cassava flour or tapioca flour, naturally gluten-free, full of cheesy yumminess, and so very, very easy to make. Alrighty, my lovelies. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye.